1071 WTJN on a Saturday morning. I'm Clint Myers. Good morning to you. Time now for the Mayor's Report, and with us is Mayor Michael Beamish. Good morning.
Well, good morning to you, Clint and David, and to all the listeners out there. It's as we speak, a beautiful day.
Yeah, absolutely indeed. Hard to believe that the clocks go back tomorrow night.
My gosh, well, that we
or spring forward. They don't go backwards.
Forward.
They
but
go
it
forward.
does tell us spring is just on the horizon.
Yes, it is. It's coming. You see, it's a little bit more daylight in the morning now. And
absolutely.
So looking forward to spring. Even I have flowers coming up in the flower beds already.
Absolutely, yes.
All right. Well, you had council this week, Mayor.
We did have council on March 5th, a regular Monday session, and we had a number of items. We had 3 resolutions and 5 ordinances that council had a chance to look at. I will start by saying one of the ordinances, looking at the Board of Zoning Appeals and some considerations for zoning code changes. That was moved to a public hearing, which moved to a second reading, and that public hearing will be at the next council meeting on the 19th of March. So that takes care of that one ordinance. The others, well, first of all, I got to say, welcome to Kyler Boer, who is now going to become the director of golf at the Miami Shores Club. And, of course, we do bid Ken Green farewell as he heads into retirement. Ken has been a wonderful asset to the Miami Shores Golf Club.
How many years was Ken at the
I believe
club?
At least 14
okay.
years. But he has done such a great job. But we also, the Board of Park Commissioners has hired Kyler Boer, who has a history in this region as a golfer, and also has great credentials from where he's coming in Colorado to Troy. He's glad to be back into this area. He's a young guy, has great ideas, and we wish him well. So that was an introduction that was made. The resolutions all passed that we had. One was the Tax Incentive Review Council. That's just looking and reviewing the annual enterprise zone agreements that we have in place, and they're moving forward, and they were adopted unanimously. We also had on the TIF, which is out there on the west side of Troy, and that again has been very productive for the city, and so that is also moving forward with council support. We did have ODOT, and they're looking at down the road performing some bridge deck work, and this is not for right now, so I'll get to construction. We have construction going everywhere, but this is down the road in 2020. But ODOT always likes to put it on their docket and have council approval, and they have approved that as well. In terms of the ordinances, probably the most discussed, given a lot of credence, is the one that dealt with rezoning from agricultural to city R3B on the area behind Finsbury, that area. There are 2 things. This was a rezoning issue, and they passed that unanimously. No, excuse me. They passed that with a 7-1 vote.
Okay.
But it just opens the zoning issue. From there, if a developer wants to develop that area, they need to bring that forward to Troy Planning Commission. They make a recommendation to council. Council debates that, discusses that. I know there's a lot of concern over water drainage and issues in that whole area. So they'll be scrutinizing that very carefully down the road once the developer comes forward with a program or a plan for how they're going to develop that land.
Okay. Now will that include what they do with to get that water out of there?
Yes.
Okay.
I know that. I know that's going to be a big issue. It's obviously a strong residential issue in that area. And so the council's very familiar with that area, and they will continue to do their due diligence before they make decisions down the road on development.
Okay.
That was probably the most discussed issue over the last few sessions. We did have the downtown riverfront overlay district, and that passed. That allows some different changes with different ideas for the downtown and riverfront area.
Okay.
Let's see. We did pass an ordinance for low-speed vehicles, and also looked at trying to come into code with the state state budget bill that was passed.
Is this with the golf carts?
Well, the golf carts was the first one with the low-speed vehicles,
Okay.
yes. And that's just to regulate that so that it's safe for both the golf cart driver, the pedestrian, the regular vehicles on the road,
Gotcha.
bicycles on the road. So those were the major issues that I wanted to just bring forward from the council updates. So there will be a public hearing on the 19th, and that will be dealing with BZA codes. I will say one of the things that comes out a lot is all the construction we have going around Troy. And
There's a lot, but when it's done, I just keep saying, when it's done, it's going to be so nice.
You know, I realize, all of us realize it's an inconvenience, it tests our patience, but it also gives us opportunity to move around Troy and see different areas of Troy.
Break
as
your
we
route,
find.
break that routine and
Right.
take a different route to work.
And I, for one, am one of those people that is finding different ways around. I do want to say the major project that we're doing as a city is on North Market Street.
Okay.
So there are detour signs getting us around and helping us to get around. I would still ask everybody to support those businesses that are on the north side of Troy, Sherwood Shopping Center, Needlers, all those places there. They need the support in business. They're a small business trying to survive. But we also have utility infrastructure groups out there, from Vectren to be one.
They're going to be doing gas lines. And
You'll see them on Main Street. They've been there a lot. They're separate. It's not part of that road construction project down the road, but they are putting in upgrades in their Vectren lines. So you'll see them all around.
They were doing that last summer too. And like you said, they're already out. They've been on West Main Street in
Right.
the eastbound lane. Eastbound lane. So just when you see the signs and you see the folks out there working, move over and slow down.
Yep, thank you for sharing that. And again, I just wanted to let everybody know that we understand. We know that it's an inconvenience. You have to find different ways around town. But once that's done, as you said, Clint, it'll be a better, more improved, safer routes around town, and it just adds to the ambiance of our city down the road. Not right now, but we're all in this together.
Now, is the McCaig project this year?
McCaig will be down the road.
Okay, that's
down the
next
road.
year.
Yeah, we want to get the North Market fixed.
Because I know it was doing the every other year.
And that also is going to be an interesting issue, because they'll be crossing Dorset and McCaig, and you know that's
Right.
a busy intersection, and that has a lot of new twists and new ideas, and we've had traffic control engineers looking at that area. So that's down the road, but that'll be our next biggest project.
Okay. And as I think of a big project that's going on here in town, to me, it just baffles my mind to see how quick the Kettering Health Network building is taking shape.
Well, the Kettering Health Network, and they're calling it Troy Hospital, which I like to hear. They're going to have a big ceremony, a topping out ceremony. It's coming up on March 16th at 10 o'clock, so if people want to see. But the frame of the hospital is now put together.
That's what the topping out ceremony will
And
be.
that's what it is. The idea of a tree is part of the ancient construction tradition when they get to the highest point of their construction, they have a topping ceremony. And of course, we're a Tree City, USA, so it fits. It's just another fit. We've been in Tree City, USA for 32 years. And
So what exactly will they be doing?
well, it's a ritual. From what I understand, they'll have a tree, and it'll be at the mark of the highest elevation of the frame of the Troy Hospital, and they will have kind of a dedication ceremony.
Okay.
It's a process. It's a step by step. Then you're going to see the framing, the brick and mortar going around that
Start to
shell.
close it off.
So I just think it's exciting times for Troy.
It is.
To see that develop and how big it's going to be and how much that will add to the quality of life in our whole Miami County region. So that's moving forward, as we can see, and there'll be a ceremony. I also, if I can, I want to put a plug in for Altrusa. The Altrusa Club has their annual spelling bee, and that's the day before, on March 15th.
Okay.
And there is tickets you can get for lunch, and then the entertainment value is to watching the teams compete in the spelling bee. But the overall mission is to provide funds to help with literacy, not only through Troy but throughout the county, and that's all good. That's just a wonderful thing, and they've been doing this for years. Yours truly gets to be the judge, always invited to be the judge for that event. Have participated in that event way back in the early stages. We, as the Troy City Schools, won that championship that year, and so I retired undefeated, and they made me a judge. So that's what we're doing. So that's another good thing. You brought up to start the whole program today about spring and springing forward and thinking of spring.
And a lot of that's cleaning up.
Yeah, and clean up. So I just want to say the dye mill facility is open. They are not open on Sundays and on Wednesdays. So those are 2 days that they are closed. But the other days they're available if you have things, you're doing some spring cleaning, want to take things out to the dye mill. Now, you do have to be a Troy resident.
I was just going to add that. You have to be a Troy resident in order to use the facility.
That's true.
And take anything, too.
And the event schedule is just going to start as we get into spring, summer, and fall. There's things going to be happening all through the downtown, the river, the Treasure Island Park.
There's
and
just
our
more
park systems.
and more activity. You can see it. Not only is it the sun coming up a little bit earlier in the morning, but I see more folks back out on the streets. I've seen some runners in the morning. All the other signs of spring are here.
There. And Hainer Cultural Center continues to be a center where there's lots of activity and events. So take time to walk down there and walk around. It's a beautiful mansion that is a treasure of Troy. So we have lots of things, even in this dormant time of the year, where we can get involved.
Okay. Mayor, thank you so much for stopping this morning.
Thank you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
This has been the Mayor's Report with Mayor Mike Beamish. I'm Clint Myers on 107.1 WTJN.